What's up, Team G Code? Welcome to another episode of the Range 5 podcast. I'm your host, Greg Jones, and we're honored to have Marcy Finn with us today. Marcy, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit so our viewers get to know you a little bit better?
Absolutely. Hey, Greg, thanks so much for having me here on the podcast today. I'm super excited. My name is Marcy Finn. I'm here, a local here in the Wilmington, North Carolina area. I've been shooting for quite a few years, and I'm happy to be here. Super excited.
And you want to talk a little bit about where you work, because that's that we met you prior to working at Sanctum 1791. You've been on the G Code Pro staff since we really started the program, but you also work at Sanctum 1791. And you want to talk a little bit about that business, because it's a sort of a sister business, I guess, with us here in the Wilmington, North Carolina area, and you guys are very good to us.
Well, we appreciate that. You guys are also very good to us too. I like to think we're kind of neighbors at this point. We're right down the road from each other. So, yeah, Sanctum 1791. We're a new country club that actually recently just opened. So we are super excited. We're a members-based country club. We call it a country club because it's a little bit different than your average shooting range. So of course, we have pistol rifle bays. We've got tactical range. We've got a clubhouse though as well with a restaurant, bar. We also have a pro shop there that we partnered with Eastern Outfitters, and we also have a 15-station clay course, 5 stand. So it's pretty nice. We're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I think you were explaining country club when I first heard that. I did not understand it, but it's basically, if you thought of a golf course with a clubhouse, that's sort of what it is. And then the clay course is very nice. The CEO's taking me around. You guys have done a very good job of making it competitive. I'm not a clay shooter. I grew up shooting clays with my dad. I'm not good at it, so I'm not going to waste my time or y'all's time. But it's very nice. There's some pretty neat. They're not stages, but the shooting location where you shoot from. I won't spoil it from everybody, but there's some unique locations to shoot from with some props, etc. that are pretty cool. And then on the other side is where you get the stuff that I like to do, the tactical stuff, 200-yard range, right, for rifle. And then you got all the steel. They were nice enough just to host my son's bachelor party out there. Great job. We had targets to 100, almost to 200 steel. Then we had some shotgun targets I think we moved them into about 20 yards. And then we had a nice plate rack. So you guys got paper targets, steel targets. You run matches out there. And then they do have a bar, but you very good rules and regulations about how not to mix shooting and alcohol. But the restaurant is Tombstones, right?
It is, yes, and the food is absolutely fabulous. I'm not against you guys that it's so good.
I agree. It is very good food. And it's reasonably priced. I would have thought at the country club I'm going to pay. I think I had some type of burger. Think you're going to pay $30, like $15. That was not bad at all. And then how long you guys been open?
So we just opened up, Greg. I guess this is actually week 3 for us.
Okay.
Our third.
Oh, Memorial Day is when you guys, that about right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, time flies. It seems like a much longer time ago than that. But yeah, you guys did a great job with the grounds out there. It's very beautiful property. And it's not, well, so if you're from the area, or if you come to the area for vacations at the beach, could those people get memberships as well?
They can. Yeah, we also have day passes as well too. So if there's something specific that somebody's maybe here for a few days or a day, even visiting some family, or maybe they vacation here or anything like that, we've got something for just about everybody.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. Guy that I was out there with is actually he's not a guy, it's my son's now father-in-law. He realized that there's a social club. So you can get a full club membership, have access to all the ranges, show up sort of whenever you want, shoot whatever you want. But can you talk about some of the other types of memberships that folks can get?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have that social membership. So that's for kind of the folks that maybe support the Second Amendment, support gun rights, and being around folks that are similar, like-minded in the community, as far as advocating for firearms, of course. And that social membership will get you access to the clubhouse, our events, our restaurant, and things like that, which our event space, by the way, is super beautiful. I know that you've taken a tour of it, but it's got a really nice waterfall in the back. We've got outdoor seating, music, trivia nights, stuff like that we have kind of going on. So social membership, that's for folks that maybe don't really
prefer to shoot, but they just want to enjoy like the restaurant clubhouse.
That's very reasonable price too. I think well under $100 for a monthly membership, something like that.
Yeah, for just the social membership, it's $35 per person.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Should probably get one. And then you for classes and matches, do you have to have any membership, or can you take those? Just go on your website or practice score and register for those separately. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, it really depends on the class or the competition or tournament that we're gonna have. So we have a little bit of both. We have very member specific or members only classes and instruction, but we also have plenty of classes that are also open to the public. And yes, that is down on practice score. We posted all of those to practice score or on our website or gets to call. We will have tournaments and competitions as well too. So there's obviously a little bit of a perk for being a member at Sanctum with that, but we also have tournaments and competitions open to the public as well too. We'll have competitions as everything from USPSA, IDPA, steel challenges, EC, and we also have shotgun specific shoot guns, stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. So if you're a shooter and you live in the Wilmington area or you visit the Wilmington area, there's going to be an option for you. Now, do you guys rent guns as well, right? Can you talk about what types of firearms you rent?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got so we partnered with Eastern Outfitters, their local company here in the area.
Great company. I all my own for that.
Do you? Yeah, they have such a great selection. And so yes, at Sanctum, so it's Eastern at Sanctum is the pro shop as soon as you go into the clubhouse. They have, of course, firearms for sale, but they also have them for rent as well too. So everything from handguns to PCC to rifles to carbine to shotguns, things like that, a whole plethora. So
Okay. And then you also have I don't know everybody on your staff, but from my understanding, of course, used to be in the Marine Corps, and I know there's a lot of Marines because I don't know what it is. We all got longer haired beards, but somehow we self organize and like in 3 seconds, who's a Marine out there. But you have not just Marines, but do you want to talk a little bit about the quality of the safety staff? Again, you can drink there, you can eat there, you can shoot there, you can probably have no firearms knowledge, rent a handgun. You talk about some of your range officers and safety backstops to make sure people know that. Because again, one thing I always get sensitive about, especially being in the Second Amendment space, is that people think we're crazy nut jobs that aren't concerned about security or safety. Can you talk a little bit about that, just to really make potential visitors more comfortable about their experience?
yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that you brought that up, Greg. Because I'm sure you got to experience that when you were out at the range with us. So yeah, that's something that I'm very proud of that we've established and that we've built at Sanctum. Something that's a little bit different, with our facility where we have so many different amenities all in one place. There's a lot of parts and pieces to think about. As far as you have a shotgun side. Well, shotgun side is going to be a little bit different when it comes to safety procedures, when it comes to like your pistol rifle side. And so we also have an air rifle too. So all of that being all in one facility, of course, there's like an overlaying piece of, what that safety looks like as far as our protocols. But we also have kind of more specific safety protocols depending on the area that you're going to as well too. So yeah, kind of, quick information about that is of course everybody checks in here at our clubhouse. So kind of in relation to that, making sure that folks are doing the right thing, of course, because we do have alcohol on the premises. We have a very strict policies when it comes to making sure that separation is there. So of course with our clubhouse, people check in, everybody gets a wristband, depending on if you're a guest or if you're a member, what that wristband will look like. And then of course from there, just we've got a couple policies on how to transport the firearm from the clubhouse, whether it be a shotgun to the clay course, or maybe it's your rifle or your handgun, or both that you're transporting over to the pistol rifle side. But something that I'm super proud of is how all of our staff, all of our team are also not just on the safety aspect, but also concierge service as well too. So as far as when you kind of check in and you migrate over to that area, that range that you're going to, all of our staff is super friendly. You will be greeted by one of our staff members. Most of the time, they will carry your stuff for you, kind of introduce themselves. If not, okay. Yep. So a little bit different vibe maybe, but kind of help you with your stuff, take you over to the bay that you're going to, get you set up, make sure that you're comfortable. They'll give you a stage brief or a range brief, and kind of talk about our facility, and yeah, so they'll be there and help you if you have any questions, or if maybe a malfunction happens, you're not quite sure how to figure it out. We'll work through it. They'll be there to kind of help you with that, and same thing for the shotgun side. So with the shotgun side, if you take the play course, you can do it by yourself if you would like. But we also have trappers as well too that are right there. So
That was my experience on the rifle bay. Is we had people. I'm not saying that I'm like super marksman aficionado, but I've been around lots of different types of weapons my entire life, and safety procedures and investigations and all that stuff. And they were very good at making sure everyone started off on a baseline and then observing the shooters. And then there were some shooters of lesser capability that we paid a little bit more attention to, and then shooters not everyone was paid attention to, and then shooters that were a little bit more capable. And like, not the greatest, but draw from a holster is not something that I cannot do safely and effectively. Watch me a little bit, and then within the parameters of range, I won't say let me do it. I wanted to, obviously not. Weapon down range, 180 rule, all that other stuff, no flagging people, all the safety rules, but they let me and some of the other folks that had a little bit more experience push it a little bit further, which for me, around here, there's some good ranges around the local area, but the rules are very, very strict. So I was appreciative to be allowed to shoot at my pace, I guess was really what it was. It wasn't immediately shoot at my pace. It was, hey, I've been doing this for a while, talking to the guys, and they're very fairly watching me. And then I didn't do anything crazy, but letting me shoot a little bit more at my pace. So it was honestly the best range experience that I've had around here, just because it's just the way that you guys do it. And the staff is trained. For a lot of indoor ranges, there's the camera, and there's the sales staff that's there, and then there's camera in the back, and so you're just more structured, or yeah, and I'm not saying you guys aren't structured, but you balance it well, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Truly that. And then definitely, if you're a G-code aficionado, or you're interested in the pro shop, that Eastern runs G-codes in there too. So we appreciate you guys doing that. We appreciate Sanctum letting us in there. It's again another great partnership. And are there memberships available still if you want to get them?
we do still have a few memberships available. We had been working on this project for a very long time. So we've been in the community, we've been advertising it in the community for a while. We do have quite a few memberships that have already signed up, but we do still have some that are available.
And that's important for people to know, because I think for a couple reasons. If you want to be a member, do it soon. But also, if you're a member, you guys are not going to have 10,000 members, right? I mean, from a monetary perspective, having 10,000 members would be profitable, but then your range experience is not going to be that great, because you're going to be waiting. And you guys have thought, I know some of this because I've been involved with you guys for a while, but I don't want to put words in your mouth, but my understanding is you guys are very conscious about making sure that no one's standing in line waiting. And some of the ranges around here, because this is red state, red area, upper red state. Some of the other ranges you go to locally, there's a throughput problem. And if you're on weekends, it's an hour wait, or you just don't shoot and you try a weekday. Can you talk a little bit about how you're managing membership, but also making sure that folks have a good experience?
Absolutely, yeah. And that was something that we have been working on for a while, just planning that out, keeping that balance of, having folks there, because it is a membership community, right? So we're trying to get as many people there as we can, but comfortably, as far as, like you said, not having to wait when they go out to the range, if they want to have a family event on, this Saturday or something like that. We actually have the capability, and their members will have the capability of logging into their member portal. They can reserve online as well too. So that way you kind of know ahead of time, okay, this is the time slot that I am looking for. This is the day that I kind of prefer, or the tactical range or a clay course, maybe going out with a group of friends on the clay course. You kind of already have an idea of this is a time slot that I'm looking for. So kind of dependent, but
When I did that recently, it was very easy process. All forms are automated. And then I forget, is it Nadia, the training? She will stay on top of you to make sure you watch her. She was always very polite and made sure that me and all my, we're not teenagers anymore, but 20 something young men actually follow the rules. What was your favorite part about saying?
Oh man. You know, I've kind of touched on a little bit, but having all the amenities all at one place is really cool for me. That's something that I haven't really seen in other ranges. I do like, it's every little detail has so much attention into it. There's nothing that really was overlooked. And what I mean by detail, especially from my end of things, of course, pistol rifle side. We, have some overhang, so depending on weather, things like that, that's super nice to kind of have that covering. The lights are kind of a nice feature as well too. So we have like, of course, the stadium lighting on the bays and the tactical range. So it doesn't matter, of course, what time. We have no restriction on noise or time ordinances or anything like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
On basis and micro base, I escape. That's not always the case for bigger munitions. So that's nice. But it was a pain in the butt when you're in the middle of training exercise and you hit quiet hours, especially for artillery, and they would sit there waiting. So that's super nice. And technically the address is Holly Ridge.
It is Holly Ridge.
So it's not, I mean, if you're in Wilmington, you can get there relatively easy. Jacksonville, obviously for beachgoers, vacationers, Topsail, North Topsail, South Topsail, Surf City, all very close. I live in Hampstead. I think it's like GPS, it's like 18-minute drive. So it's actually closer for me to get there than anywhere else in Wilmington.
Yeah, it's close to everything. That's what I love about it. It's super close to the beach, like I said, if you're vacationing. So
I think we hit a lot about classes, but can we maybe dive detail into some more of the classes? Because when I was out there, you guys there's like a shooting from a vehicle class.
yeah.
So I mean, those are things that, again, you guys have the ability to cater to brand new shooters, but you also have some opportunities to help people take to the next level, because those are courses sometimes that are only like law enforcement or military courses. Can you talk about some of your more iron courses?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a huge array of classes because we have such a strong team at Sanctum with a variety of background, a variety of experience. And that's what's really cool about Sanctum is not only can you come out and if you want to shoot something, as far as on one of our bays or the plate course, you can, but you can also seek that training as well too, which is really neat. So we do have classes that range from, basic safety. So we do have a ton of complimentary, like maybe you've never shot before, maybe you've only shot a few times. We have complimentary safety classes, kind of getting you oriented on, this is the basic way to, grip or hold the gun, how to load it properly or safely, making sure the firearm is clear, range etiquette, things like that, So we have classes that kind of get people started. We also have classes that maybe for folks that have been shooting for a while or really kind of getting more into it. Everything from, like pistol 1 or pistol 2, rifle 1, rifle 2, all the way up to like you're talking about like the vehicle defense classes. We'll have some low light, no light classes coming up very soon as well
Oh, really?
too. Mm-hmm.
And those no light, does that incorporate and night vision optics
Yeah.
and stuff? Oh wow.
Yeah, it absolutely will. So with our instructors, they all come from a different variety of
I know I talked to an infantry marine
Yep.
and a special operator from our SOC, so you definitely have folks that have literally done some of the higher end stuff their entire lives or the entire time they were in the service.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we have classes that are kind of geared for maybe defensive or tactical style, all the way to even competition style too. So those that are interested in more like performance based training too. So
Yeah. Well, so I appreciate the overview on Sanctum. I think we hit that pretty good. We also want to talk a little bit about you. You have some pretty neat things coming up. Can you just go? I also told my wife that you were coming today, so she's happy. She took one of your concealed carry classes. Can you do that at Sanctum? Get a concealed carry class?
yes.
Okay. And then how did you get into the shooting sports? Because that's how my wife met you. I've talked to her for years about getting her concealed carry license.
Yeah.
And she's not she's proficient, but she's not a gun person per se. And then just where she works, she sits downstairs in the office by herself. In a nice area, but there's been people that would come in off the street, and it's a little weird. So finally, we did that, and she just loved your class. You're obviously very proficient. How did you get into the shooting sports?
Yeah, well, and by the way, your wife is wonderful. I absolutely love talking with her and hanging out with her, and she did great in class.
I'm gonna get rally points.
She was great. But yes, so I guess I had started off a few years ago. So I kind of grew up around guns. My dad was the advocate in like hunting and things like that.
That. Oh no, I met your uncle.
Yes, my uncle. Yeah, yeah.
He and your husband.
Yeah. So, I kind of grew up with guns for a while now.
Okay.
But I was doing real estate for about 10 years, and
I think shooting is firearms. Yes.
by far. But so I started showing houses and things like that, of course, by myself. And, you hear the stories, and we have some training, we talk about it, things like that in the real estate community. And I wanted to get, some sort of protection for me just in case something, whatever, hopefully nothing happens. But so I seeked out, got my concealed carry in the Wilmington area. And then I not only wanted to be able to carry a firearm on me, but I wanted really very much to learn how to shoot. So I actually seeked some training. And at the time, there was not too many trainers in the area. And at the time, I didn't quite realize, but I was very fortunate enough to train up in Moyock at the Blackwater.
Yeah. What's that? I just don't know if that is Moya.
Moyock, which is near like Virginia, North Carolina border. So it's called Academy now. And so there was an instructor out there. And for about a whole year, I took training with
Oh wow, you weren't messing around.
Yep. So every month now it's a 4-hour drive, but completely worth it. So he was very knowledgeable, showed me a ton of different things, as far as maybe, as far as like leaning towards on defensive style, tactical style. And I absolutely loved it. Started getting into competition shooting, and I got the bug then, even more so. And that's kind of when I really dove into the world of firearms and the world of shooting, and I'm ate up with it. I absolutely love it. So
That's your your permanent job, right? You're running the shooting program. Well, you run the rifle pistol side out at Sanctum, is that right?
yes, yes. So the director of shooting out there for Sanctum. But yeah, so I compete, I teach. I absolutely love teaching. I've got a lot of classes. I've taught over about 400 students at this point, from concealed carry to basic pistol, basic rifle. I'm also a tactical hive instructor as well too.
Yeah. What's
But
that? Can you talk a little bit about tactical? I've seen on social media. I think they were training when you were out there, but I'm not super knowledgeable. Some people might be, but you just give a plug for Tactical Hive.
absolutely, yeah, Tactical Hive, great organization. They originated out in California, with Miles. He's the owner for that, and great programs, great training. If you're in that area, oh my gosh, you need to take their classes. Very, very strong training. They've done a lot of like research into different styles and techniques and principles that kind of all come together to make pretty much anybody a better shooter than where they started off, depending on how much time you dive into it and things like
It
that.
sounds like they have a shooting package that's based on some analytics and human performance research kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were talking before the podcast with some guys that I'm associated with. I'm associated with a company that is owned by Practice Score, but they're big into working with Office of the Naval Research, applying science, statistics, and human performance science, and then having my last life spent a bunch of time in an organization where we pride ourselves with being really good marksmen. Then at the end of my career, being in an organization that was in charge of marksmanship for the service, but taking a really hard look at what legacy training, we weren't really training very well. We were running people through a course of fire en masse. And there wasn't necessarily there was a class, a demonstration, and then the test, right? And then the feedback was you passed or failed the test, or, there's a military folks will know, you know, sharpshooter, marksman expert, or marksman sharpshooter expert. There was classification, but there was a lot of self-analysis. And you know better than I do, you have to have a certain level of experience shooting rifle or pistol before you're even able to do any valuable self-analysis. And so it was a very interesting experience. And then again, I guess I'm agreeing with what you're saying. I don't know a lot about tactical, but the problem that we would run into is there would be a guy with, you know, probably with some special operations background that was really good. And they would just teach the way that they shot, and then nobody wrote that down. And then so as soon as that contractor left or he left your organization, there was no like backup other than like this is a course of fire to shoot. So I'm just a big fan of applying human performance science, then some analytics to marksmanship training. And it also provides consistency for the instructors and then consistency for the students. And then over time, what I've seen is that can significantly increase the performance of the student. I don't know if you've had similar experience in that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that. I love that you're focusing a lot on the performance side of it, not just the outcome side of
Yes.
a standard or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. And but yes, Tactical Hive, they do a really great job as far as really diving into individual shooters.
Yeah.
And it's not, one size fits all type of technique. It's multiple techniques, but you're, you know, basing it off of this is the performance that can get you to that outcome. So.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to say it. You said performance-based versus outcomes-based. I agree. Because because in a class or in a military unit, you want to do your best to make all of them Tom Brady's, right? You're never going to get them all to be Tom Brady's, but Tom Brady probably had a lot of individual instruction. So again, just makes sense. Okay, so that's how you got into shooting. What are your favorite shooting disciplines, and can you talk a little bit about why they're your favorite shooting disciplines?
Yeah. Gosh, it's kind of hard to like pinpoint
You do a lot.
favorites.
You do a lot, but I'm supposed to ask some hard questions, right?
Yeah. I would say I guess USPSA is probably my favorite. I love shooting handguns. Handguns probably I guess what I lean towards the most. I love shooting rifle as well too, but I think handgun is a little bit more my speed. I absolutely love it. So my divisions that I shoot in USPSA is carry optics. And then when I'm shooting two gun as well too. So of course when I'm using two gun, I absolutely love using your G code Scorpion belt. This is actually the exact belt that I use here. So pretty much I kind of do maybe 80% handgun shooting, more so on USPSA. I'm dabbling into IDPA now, just kind of get my feet wet in that.
That's interesting because that's the type of shooting that you did first, because IDPA is largely from concealed carry rigs, right? You're a better duty expert at the rules, but I mean, they want you to show up at the competition with the handgun concealed. Generally, they want you to shoot more of a concealable gun, not like a Desert Eagle 50 cal. That probably doesn't meet the size and weight restrictions.
Right.
So it is interesting. You started off in that type of shooting, went USPSA, and then you're diving back into competition shooting, sort of where you started on a self-defense perspective.
Yeah, it all kind of translates together in a way. And a lot of I guess we talk a little bit about like, performance based training, right? So a lot of those principles that I have learned from like the, quote unquote USPSA competition style can certainly translate over to like a more defensive style as well too. So no, I love it. It's
USPSA is fun. It's very action oriented, a lot of shooting, but you're most likely, if in a self-defense scenario, shoot from that rig versus that rig. So I'm glad there's a competition search to do that. So yeah, I did OD green in mine too. I mean, you've got, what I like is you got Scorpions, but you have them tilted a little bit, which obviously our attachment system allows. And then why do you like to cant them? Do you have just a preference on mag draw?
That's pretty much all it is just how I like to reload. So I kind of have that little bit of a cant just on how I'm grabbing my magazines, just how I drop that elbow a little bit quicker.
Okay.
Just just preference. So
Yeah, so that's pretty much standard Scorpion assaulter system belt. Well, it's a little different. You have a dump pouch, and you don't need a medical pouch. Where you got our RTI attachment system. What kind of holster do you have on there?
so this is actually from A&R. So a buddy of mine had made that for me for my particular gun.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, we talked about that for a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just because you've got a lot of souped up stuff on your handgun.
Got stuff on it, yeah.
Yeah, but that's important. Yeah, we did talk about it before the podcast. It's sort of a business aspect of what we do. We do get a lot of customer requests for weapons and things like that, but it does get very difficult especially to maintain quality and to be profitable in what we're doing, to facilitate holsters with a lot of aftermarket parts. So there's always going to be a place in the holster tactical shooting realm for the custom Kydex guy, right? That can facilitate gas pettas and larger mag releases and slide releases and stuff like that. But the good thing about G code is if you got the right holes in the back, you can put RTI adapters on there and make it run with the rest of our system. So if our listeners are interested in a bunch of fancy race gun stuff, we got to be able to push volume to be able to make a return on investment. But again, it's good to see that again, I think it's a good plug for some of our adaptability. And then again, we do like the custom global Kydex guys. Every once in a while, we just have to refer people to somebody that they know, just because it's too many options out there, which is good for firearms enthusiasts because you could pretty much do anything you want with rifles, pistols these days. But good. So what else you want to talk about?
Well, and two, since we're still on this topic, I've had that belt for, I guess, about 3 years.
Oh, really?
And it has been through a lot with me because I train really hard in all elements of weather, mud, especially with this type of setup. I do a little bit more, especially when it comes to like two-gun stuff.
Okay.
I'm a little bit more, I guess, to the earth, if that makes sense, right? So like sometimes I'm doing like a lot of prone or like, falling through things or whatever the case is. That belt has always, it's been great. It's held up, had zero issues with it. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a pro staff member, but I absolutely love it.
Well, you would have got that belt before you were pro staff member, which means you also pay for that. But again, no, I do appreciate that because that's always the thing on, in this type of environment. We want to bring real people in. We want to talk about the 2A space, various different things in the 2A space. I certainly want to plug G-code products, but I think clarification on how you came across the product and how you use it is important because, again, boss is a former infantry Marine. I'm a former infantry Marine. A lot of the guy that design, Dennis, he designs a lot of our stuff. 27-year Greenberg. He had 4 years in the Marine Corps and then 23 years in the Green Berets. But yeah, especially that there's a lot of us that know what gear needs to do for the intended purpose, and it's good to get that feedback. I just putting my belt together. When I started working here, I was like, man, I wish I had this, because it's just really good quality and it's designed to keep up with the human that's running the gear, and it is designed to be drugged through the mud and for hard use. And our CEO and owner Scott has spent a lot of time trying to think about all the different things, what we like to say. And and someone's, especially for military and law enforcement, on their worst day, they might be getting shot at or wrestling with a violent criminal. Last thing they need to do is worry about their gear failing.
Right.
And if that happens, then we have failed our customer. So we appreciate that. So let's talk about where we might see you in some of your G-code gear in some upcoming matches, because I think you got a pretty good reveal where it is June. So we were talking about for the podcast when we might release this, but I think we're going to tie the release of podcast to the match that you're going to tell us about that you're in coming up this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be at a couple matches here coming up. Actually, next week, I know right now it is June, but next week I'll be shooting nationals. So it'll be Factory Gun Nationals.
And where is that national? What discipline?
It's I'm shooting carry optics for this one.
Okay, is that USPSA?
It is.
Nationals? Okay.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. There's a bigger one that she has, but so I'll highlight that one. So USPSA, you said Factory Optics.
Yep, Factory Gun Nationals. That's in Ohio next week, so I'll be there.
I've been to that range, so, sort of Central Ohio.
Yes,
There's like 20 bays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice range.
it's very nice.
It's very functional. It's not as nice as the Country Club, but for a functional pistol shooting range, that's super nice. Now, what can you talk about Factory Optics and what that is specifically for viewers that may not know?
Yeah, so I'm shooting the carry optics division. So basically for this nationals, they've kind of taken like limited production and then carry optics and they put it into one national event. Whereas last year it was specifically like, for example, my division carry optics was only carry optics nationals, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So and then there's also, uh like open is shooting like with PCC and things like that too. So a little bit different as far as nationals this year, which is very exciting. But yeah, so that's
But to get to nationals again, I can't remember all the rules, but you have to have performed at a certain level in regional matches, I think, to be able to get to go to nationals. Is that roughly correct?
to an extent, yeah. So they send out pretty much an invitation to those certain folks depending on previous matches and ranks and things like that.
Like I can't go
Oh,
because I'm not good enough and haven't shot enough.
you totally can. No, you absolutely can. Yeah, there's a opportunity for the general
Okay.
is open to anybody after the pre-registrations.
Well, I'm guessing that I'm not getting an invitation. I need to start shooting matches more and get a lot better. I need to probably take your class. Okay, so USPSA Nationals. So what you said next week?
Next week, yeah.
Okay, and so then what's after that?
Got a couple other matches that I'm very excited about. The one coming up in September.
Great.
So I haven't told too many folks other than obviously the folks at Sanctum. But I'm shooting the IPSC World Shoot in the end of September. It'll be in South Africa. So,
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. And you're shooting, what division are you shooting in?
so that for IPSC, very similar to USPSA, a little different. But that is production optics. Those are the division I'll be shooting.
And we talked about that a little before the podcast. I have never been and not good enough to go, but when my previous life, when I was charged in the regular shooting team, that was a big deal for us because you have to get invited, right? So again, there's certain level of performance you have to be. They're not taking scrubs, and then I think every 4 years they do something different. 2 years ago, I think was shotgun. Last year, that was I can't remember what that was. Thailand, I think. And then last year, I think it was rifle in Finland, I think. And then South Africa pistol in September. And that was the one I was alluding to that we'll try and sync this podcast up for when you're going. You're going to shoot on the USA team, right?
Yes, I'll be helping to represent Team USA.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, thank you for doing that. Again, we talked about it before the podcast. Some Marines that I was, that went when I worked with them, it was a great experience. They really enjoyed. You're going to have a great time. The shooters apparently are very nice. All the folks on the American team are super supportive. Yeah, I think you get a jersey, right?
Yes.
All right. So have you framed that? You found out what you're going to do with that yet?
Not yet. Obviously wear it and love it, and yep, I'm excited about it.
No, actually, it was huge. It's a huge deal. I mean, you got to be really good, and so we're certainly glad for you personally, and glad you're on our pro staff. So you brought some other G code gear with you. Is this your carry gun, and what is it, and what kind of holster do you have for it?
Yeah, so this is pretty much one of my everyday carry guns. Usually in the summertime, this is what I switch to. This is my SIG P320, 365 macro. My other carry gun that I use is my 320 compact.
Okay.
So this is my 360.
It's otherwise known as an M18 for military
Yep.
types.
Absolutely. And so this holster, I absolutely love this holster because of the tactical fuzz that you guys have with this. But this is the Phenom holster, obviously with G code.
Do you have this? Does that have the fuzz inside it?
It does.
Okay, so that's our Phenom stealth. Yes.
So nice.
And then you like blue, so I got you blue.
Yes, I absolutely love the blue. Adds a little personal touch, a little personality to it. So Yeah, usually how I carry, Greg, is the appendix inside the waistband. Typically, just depending again on what I'm wearing. Of course, as a female, we have tons of different clothes and things like that. But usually, I try to carry a appendix. So
Or-
that's my good.
Yeah, you brought yours. Have to bring mine. Of course, this is clear beforehand. Of course, everyone that hates Sig, you do.
So
Yeah. Yeah, you brought yours. So I have to bring mine. Of course, this is clear beforehand. Of course, everyone that hates Sig, you either love Sig or you hate it. So there's gonna be a lot of people that hate us. We make holsters for plenty of different handguns, but I got a P365 HG Legion with the Holosun EPSA. I went with the Eclipse just because I'm sort of against weight after I retired. I joke about it a lot on the show. But I am not doing appendix security. I got too much stuff going on. And the yeah. Anyway, but I like this. I carried strong side, and then with our 4-hole clip, you could can it, so then it sits in my trousers, real sort of candid towards me, and really grip angle helps me out. Phone uh, get that quickly, and then I can obviously raise this up.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
so sometimes with I think when you're carrying a pistol, if your trousers are too low and it sort of cuts across the pistol grip, it's hard to get a good firm grip on there. So that helps me out. It helps me out a little bit. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And one thing about, I guess, a female is, like I was saying, we have so many different clothes that we wear. And of course, during the season of like right now where it's blazing hot outside, having different options like you guys do for different holsters, that's super helpful for.
we're partnered with Victos. We need to get some of their some more of their products on our website, but they also make a lot of bags. And this is they're not they make bags for lots of different people, but fanny packs, etc., that have places especially for holsters. So you could, if you wanted that option, you could, and you had a bag or something, or you're going swimming near a dude and you got a fanny pack instead. Victus does a really good job of making bags that will facilitate really your everyday concealed carry holster. Just putting that in there. So Marcy, so now we're at that point of the podcast where I like to give away a gift. You're a lady with a lot of G code gear. So as we talked about ahead of time, I know you shoot PCC. What I wanted to be able to do is give you our new branded PCC placard and H harness. And really what you'll see, oops, I got it upside down. What you'll see here is our turning pouches, which also fit a various number of PCC mags and an admin pouch for CLP, ear pro, maybe some fit sticks, something like that. You got some pretty nice plastic buckles that'll allow you to easily exchange this with the APC, or I know you shoot a lot, or another placard. Also got you G code 2x2 with some tall scorpions. I went with tall, didn't ask you, but I know you shoot pistol a lot, so you probably got some extended mags and 2 rifle mags. So this hopefully will round out some of your G code's gear, and maybe we'll see a PCC Worlds here pretty soon. Maybe getting you Zach.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much. Oh my gosh. As always, man, you guys are so nice. Thank you so much.
Friends do nice things for friends, and you guys at Sanctum help us out a lot. You help us out a lot, and we really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
All right, but that's yours because I know you shoot a lot of different disciplines, and yeah. What else do you want to talk about before we close? I want to make sure that people can follow you on social media, especially when you go to the. Hopefully, you're going to post some stuff at nationals and the world shoot. But how do we follow you on social media for folks that are interested?
Yeah. So if folks want to follow me, I'm on Instagram at marcy.may. It's marce.mae. It's a weird name, spelled weird. But no, it's cool. But and then also Sanctum 1791, of course, too. We're using a lot of stuff on that. Yeah.
Okay. And then also you're on our pro staff. So if your fans and our customers want to get a 15% discount, your promo code is Marcy Finn 15, MARCEEFINN 15% off the G code gear, and that helps Marcy out a little bit to pay for some expenses to get to nationals and worlds. So you have to pay your way to get to worlds.
Some, yes. Fortunately, the Sanctum team have been super
Oh, that
winner as well too. So
okay. Yeah, I just remember the Marine Corps. But it's not you get invited to go, you say yes, but then you have to get yourself there, right?
yes,
And you got to get your ammo and bring all your own guns. it's a thing. So definitely help Marcy out. She's repping, obviously, Sanctum, G Code, repping the local Wilmington, North Carolina area. And nationals in a week. You'll probably see this podcast after that. But in September, repping America. So we're proud of you. We're proud of you for that. And thanks for coming on. It's a great relationship between G Code and Marcy, G Code and Sanctum. We really appreciate what you did. Actually, just to brag on Marcy a little bit, we worked it enough. We were able to drop a new XSR level 2 the same day that the P211 came out, the new 1911 for SIG. And we content team we wanted to get some more content. We called Marcy and said, hey, can we get out there today? And she facilitated that. So I'm sure your members get that Sanctum, get the same exact customer service that we do from you all. And it was definitely appreciated, made our release that much better. Of course, then all the SIG figures came out. And that's why we did make holsters for Staccato, which we do, and why we don't make holsters for OA Defense, which we do. Check it out on our website. But we definitely appreciate it and look forward to seeing you out representing the area and representing the country. And I'm sure you will do awesome. And you'll tell us about it, right? And we follow you on. We'll say one more time how we follow you on your socials.
Socials, Marcy .May. So
Okay.
MARCEE.MA.
Facebook and Instagram.
Just Instagram,
Just
Facebook.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those.
Facebook, yeah, I know you're not as old as me, so you just shit straight to Instagram. We appreciate it, and thanks for coming by.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Greg.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
No worries.